Okay, let's share my screen. Hmm. Yes. Everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, fine then. Okay, let's discuss the overview first. Overview of IT. Okay. So, in IT, we develop two types of applications. They are like standalone applications and distributed applications. So if you go to any IT, so they will be developing these two applications only. So what is standalone application? What is distributed applications? Let's discuss the first. So the standalone application. A standalone application is one which runs on context of your local disk which runs on your computer, laptop. Okay. So these are the standalone applications. Okay. Some of the examples of standalone application, this Notepad plus plus editor itself. Notepad plus plus, this is the one of the standalone application. See, it's running on our local disk only, right? It's running on our computer only. And Edge is also a standalone application. Word is also one of the standalone application. Okay, there are so many standalone applications. Media plates, like VLC media plates, Windows media plates. And if you see the PDF files, like PDF viewers are there, right? And image editors. These are the standalone applications which are running in your laptop or your computer. Got it? Okay. Then let's see.
Actually,
Can you please go on mute? Okay. And the distributed applications. A distributed application is one which can be accessed through a globe. So World Wide Web, www.com. So we can access the distributed applications and World Wide Web. Okay. So to develop these distributed applications, we must use client and server architecture. So what we should use the client server architecture. So let's understand the client first. So what is a client? A client is one which always makes a request to the server to get the service from the server. So here is a client sending a request to the server. So client is sending the request and server will be, processing that request. Okay. So that is client. So client is the one which sends the request to the server. And let's understand the server program. So what server will be doing is whatever the request which is getting from the client, the server has to process that request. Okay. Then it will send the response back to the client. So this is a client and server architecture. So what client will be doing? It is sending the request to the server, and the server will be processing the request which is received from the client and sending the response. Once it is processing, it is sending the response back to the client. Okay. Now, how these are exchanging the data when we are like developing the distributed applications, how we are exchanging the data? So everyone know this one, how to exchange data between client and server. So how we are exchanging the data between the client and server. Not to exchange the data between the client and server, we must use a protocol. So what is a protocol? HTTP hypertext transport protocol we are using to exchange the data between the client and server. Got it? Make sense? Okay. In order to develop, you know, these distributed applications, like the two software companies involved in developing these distributed applications, they are at first they are that these are the two companies which are involved in developing the distributed applications. One is the Microsoft, the other one is Sun Microsystem. Sun Microsystems. So you know what Microsoft is developed, and you know what is what Sun Microsystem developed. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So Microsoft team has developed a technology. So what is the technology? .NET, right? So this .NET technology is a platform dependent technology. Platform dependent technology. Platform dependent in a sense. So whatever the softwares which are providing by the Microsoft, in that softwares only this particular technology will work. Okay. So which means the technology .NET will run on only on the operating systems which are provided by the Microsoft. So example, you can say Windows, because Windows is developed by the Microsoft only. So if you want to run any software, you should have Windows operating system when you are working with this .NET. Because so if you are running the .NET applications on Mac OS, it will not work. Okay, so that's why it is we are saying the Microsoft .NET is a platform dependent, whereas Java, whereas Java will run on any operating system. You can develop the, you can write the code on Windows and you can run the same code on Mac, or you can run the same code on Linux as well. Correct. So here you can understand. So we are writing the code in one operating system and the same code we are running on the different operating system. Here, Java is a platform independent. So there is a difference between the platform dependent and the platform independent. Platform independent in the sense it's work on the same operating system which the code has written. Independent in the sense you can write the code in one operating system, you can run the same code in Mac or Linux. Okay, fine. Any doubts?
Fine.
Fine then. So let's move to, as we are like keen to learn the Java technology. So we are like like we will be discussing Java only. We don't concentrate on like .NET only. Let's go for Java. So what is Java? Java is a distributed technology. Who developed Java? James Gosling. So this is the guy developed Java in early 1990s. Okay. See, the original name of Java, you people know, I don't know. The original name of Java is took from a tree called oak. Oak is a tree. Okay. So from this tree, they have given the name of like a tree at first. Later, like they have changed the name to a Java. So it's like a coffee tree, something like that. Okay. So Java has released many versions. Actually, Java has, like, you can say that like Java has released many versions so far, and it has uh, three categories. When Java is releasing, so it is releasing the three categories of versions. three categories of Java versions. One is J2SE. One is J2SE categories of Java. Categories of Java. One is J2SE. So J2SE in the sense Java to Standard Edition. Java to Standard Edition. And second one is J2EE. This is Enterprise Edition. Java to Enterprise Edition. And the third and the last is J2ME. It is for mobile applications. Java to mobile editions. It is for mobile applications. If you want to develop any mobile applications, you can go for J2ME. Okay. So, what are the examples of this Java to SE standard edition? So, what type of applications you will develop if you are using the Java J2SE? See, J2SE is basically used for developing the client server applications. So, we will be using to develop the client server applications. We are using the J2SE to develop the client and server applications. Some of the examples I have already mentioned: Notepad, Notepad plus plus, media applications or media plates, and we have image editors, and PDF viewers. There's so many applications you can develop using the Java Standard Edition and Ja- Java Enterprise Editions. So, what are the applications you can develop? So, here mainly all the software companies is working on. So, most of the companies like Infi, so these are service based companies, Infi, TCS, they are working on the enterprise applications itself. These are running on, these are applications which are running on web. Okay. So, some of the examples are e-commerce applications, e-commerce applications, e-commerce applications like Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, and Facebook. So these are these are the e-commerce applications, and we can develop the banking applications as well. Banking applications. So, banking applications you can you might be your organization might be creating a banking account to you. So they'll be providing the net banking details, the net banking credentials to you. Okay. So online banking, you can you can perform some transactions you can send you can transfer the funds to your colleagues or your family members through these applications. Okay. So these are the banking applications. Like most of the banking applications are ICICI, HDFC. So nowadays, all of the banking applications, all of the banks are providing the services over the net as well. And one more example: healthcare applications. Like mostly in hospitals, if you want to take any appointment, you can directly take it from the online itself. You don't need to visit the hospital and visit the clinic and took an appointment physically. So you can directly take an appointment from the internet itself. Some of the examples like Manipal, so Polo, So these are the big giants like who are providing services online. So you can like book an appointment over the online. Okay, these are the some of the enterprise applications, and we have for travel portals also we developed using the Java. You might have seen the airlines booking system, right? So Air Asia, Air India, Air India, Indigo. So these are the some of the applications developed using the Java. These AirAsia, Air India, Indigo, these applications will provide services to the end users like customers us to book the flight tickets, okay, from source to the destination. Got it? So these are the some of the examples of enterprise applications. Okay. So now let's see the mobile applications. So this mobile applications are like server side applications. Okay, so they'll be running on the servers itself. You'll be downloading the game. So for example, they are running on the servers only. Okay, so you'll be downloading, let's say example of Game of Thrones, or you can say that for example, White City, and Snake games. Okay, so these are the some of the examples of mobile edition applications. Okay, so Snake game. So these will be running on the server side, and some MotoGP. So this is one of the applications running on server side itself. So many gaming applications are there. I couldn't able to please name it anyone. What are the different applications which are running in your mobile? Asphalt, Asphalt,
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. Yeah, correct. Candy Crush. Help me. Candy Crush.
PUBG.
This is a standalone application. It's not a mobile application. So yeah. Candy Crush. Yeah, Candy Crush. It's a running on server itself. Yeah, Candy Crush. Yeah, there are so many
And
examples.
and
Yeah,
PUBG comes under standalone, or it's it's
it is
mobile
like
edition.
see, you are downloading PUBG in your mobile, so it is taking some amount of memory. Like for graphics only, it will be taking okay that memory, and the application itself it is running on server.
Yeah.
So it should,
Okay.
if you want to run PUBG, so you should connect with a server. Any application you can say, any gaming application, it should connect with the server. Then only your application will run. Otherwise, it won't. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
PUBG. Yeah. So these are the some of the examples of these mobile application, enterprise application, and standard edition, client server applications. Okay. Okay. So this is an overview of Java. Okay. So any doubts in it?
No, good to go.
No.
Word comes. Microsoft Word comes under this mobile edition also, right? Like we
Yeah,
can
mobile
use that
edition,
in
but it
mobile.
is a platform dependent. So it is developed by the Microsoft. It will comes under like client server.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is platform dependent, right? You can't take the Microsoft Word and use in no so Mac, because Mac will
Mm-hmm.
support different type of Word format, and Microsoft will support different. Okay, so it is
Yeah.
platform
Yeah.
that's an example of platform dependent.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, and yeah, I'll do one thing. I'll jump directly. I'll take one equation. I'll try to explain some of the uh, class variables and methods actually. First, I'll try to explain the variable using a mathematical equation. Okay. So I just want to say before, uh, let me write the class structure first. Structure of class plan. Let me check this one. Distributed client server. Okay, fine. So next thing is let's go for plan. Yeah, class structure. So let's write the class structure. So how the class will be looking like. So from the class structure, divide the class into the parts. Then I'll explain each part one by one. Okay. So a class will be created using the class keyword, and it has have a name, class name, and every class will have some properties. We used to call it as in computer language, we used to call it as variables. And every class will do some operations. Okay, in maths, we used to call it as functions. In maths, you used to call it as functions, but in computer science, we used to call it as methods. Okay. So let's discuss first, let's discuss through a mathematical what exactly a variable. So in maths, if you see, let me write as equation x square minus, sorry, plus 2y minus 2 equals to 1 plus 2y. So x square plus 2y minus 2 equals to 1. So here you can see x and y. These are the placeholders which hold some value. For example, let's say if I want to solve the equation, let's say I'll be saying x equals to 1. Okay. Y equals to 1. So x is a placeholder which is storing a value, and y is also a placeholder which stores a value of 1. Okay. We can substitute the, in place of x, we will substitute the value of x, that is 1. Okay, in place of y, we'll be substituting the value of 2. So this is how we will be solving the equation in our old days, like when we are learning in our, like mostly I can say that in our plus 2 or 10th. So we might have like, encountered all these kind of algebraic equations actually. Okay. So let's compare them with the, let's compare them with computer science. So in maths, we used to call x as a placeholder and y is also a placeholder. In computer science, we used to call these are the variables. Variables. So variable. Let me give the definition actually. What is a variable? A variable. A variable is a, okay, a variable is the one which holds some value. Here, see, a variable is the one which holds some value, which holds some value, and that value will be keep on changing, and that value will be keep on changing during the execution of a program, during the execution of a program. Cool. Let me say, for example, let's say x is a variable. I'm storing 20 in that variable. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll perform some operation on this variable. I'll say x equals to x plus 2. So what is the value of x? 20. Right. So 20 plus 2, what is the value of x now? It is 22. See, at first the value of x is 20. Now when I'm performing some addition, like I'm adding plus 2, right? Now the value is changing, right? The value of x is changing. Got it? See, a variable, let me come to the definition. A variable is one which holds some value, and this value will be changing during execution of a program. So let's say I have written in my method, I have written x equals to something like this. I want to perform this one. So at first my x value is 20. Now the x value is 22. After performing this operation, the value is 22. Okay. So let's say you have a class called account. Okay. And the account will be having a balance. Let's say balance. Let's say at first you have 1,000 balance. Now what I'll do is I have performed some deposit operation. Okay. I am taking some amount. I'll say depositing amount. Okay, what I'll do is I'll add this depositing amount to the balance so that depositing amount plus balance, it should get new balance. So I'll say balance equals to balance plus depositing amount. Let's say from my main application, I am sending a request. This is the client application. From this, I am sending a request to deposit method to deposit 500 rupees. So the request goes here. So what is the deposit amount? 500 rupees. Now what is my balance, current balance? 1000 rupees. 1000 plus 500, 1500. Now my new balance is 1500. Okay. So now here, again, I'll come to the definition. A variable is one which is holding a value, and that value will be, it's changing, right? Here we are performing deposit operation and it's changing. So when you are performing withdraw operation, so again the balance value will be changing. Okay. So here you got it right, what I'm trying to say? Are confused? I'm just trying to explain this definition. Okay, by taking the different examples. You getting or not getting?
Getting it.
Yeah, okay, fine. Please say yes or no. Otherwise, I'll be in confusion. Okay, whether you people are getting or not getting. Okay, and so I hope you got this definition. And let's understand what is the syntax of, like, declaring a variable, syntax of initializing a variable. Okay, you understand the what is variable and all. So there will be a certain syntax. Actually, you have to follow the procedure when you are declaring or initializing. When I say declaring, I'll write a syntax first. Syntax of declaring a variable. So what is the syntax? It's a data type. I'll tell you what is data type exactly. And the variable name, semicolon. And here, variable name could be any name, but you always should give the meaningful names for your variables. And here, data type. So this data type is used to convert the data from human understandable format to machine understandable format. Let's say, for example, I have, I want to store some value. I want to store some like whole number, let's say 1000 or 100. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll do in data type. So I'll be giving here variable name. I'll say, okay, let's bind to this syntax, then I'll explain this one. So data type is the one which is used to convert the human understandable format. 100 is the number which can be understood by the humans, but the computer will understand zeros and ones only. Okay, zeros and ones only. So what, when we are using the particular data type, so if I want to, for example, if I want to store the whole number, I'll be using the integer. Okay, so if I want to store the name, if I want to store the name, I'll be using string, but string is not a data type. I'll be using the string. This is a class. Okay, I'll be using a string to store the name. If I want to store prices, the real numbers, let's say price tag, I'll be using double or float. Okay. So based on the data type you are adding to the variable name, so the compiler, the JVM will convert it into the respective code actually. So we used to, like, it will be converting into the machine level language. Okay. So data types will play a huge role in you can say that huge role in understanding this computer understanding this machine language. Okay, so fine, let's Let's give some examples actually. So uh, let me explore the data types. What are the data types we have? Integer, float. So let me write one by one. Integer. So integer size is actually 2 to the power of 32. Can't write power over here. How to write the power? Okay. 2 to the power of 32. We can say something 2 into multiply of 32. So this is the size of integer 2 to the power of 32. And if your value, like whatever the value you are trying to store, okay, if it is exceeding more than this, like it say that 2,35,000 something is there. So this is the value actually. This is the last value you can store a number. Okay. So if it is exceeding more than that, so we should use long int. This is an extension of integer. So integer and long integer both will be storing the whole numbers. Whole numbers. Okay. And if we want to store the real numbers in the sense, real numbers will be having the decimal part and fraction part as well. So decimal part, like let's say 100, and fraction part, we have something like this. Okay. So if you want, mainly we will be using this, double or float for price tags only. Or if you want to, in if you see the banking accounts, the balance will be maintained. The balance will be shown you something like this 100.23 or 10,000 or 1 lakh point 23. This is your balance, something like that. When you're checking your balance in your phone pay or in your Paytm or in your account itself, bank account itself, using a mobile application, so you'll be seeing this kind of values. So all these values, this type of values will be stored using the float or double. So when to use float? So when to use float? So if a fraction point is let's say if a fraction point is just 1, it should not exceed more than one fraction point. At that time, you'll be using this float. And whenever you are declaring a float value, by the end of this, you'll be keeping f. So it will understand that. So this is a float value. Otherwise, if you are not keeping, it will be taking as a double. Okay, got it? So double will take more than 10 fraction points. Let's say more than 10 fraction points. If we want to store this fraction values as well, so then you can use a double. Okay. Then we have one more data type, that is char. So char, which is nothing but a character. It will store a single digit value. Look, whatever the signs are available in a global. So it would be a dollar sign, it would be a hash sign, it would be a @ sign, it would be a character A. Okay. All these will be stored by the character only, the char. We used to call it as a char. Okay. So when you are storing the char value, you should enclose the value in single quotations. Something like this. Chinese also, you can, Chinese words also you can write it, but in my keyboard, I don't have the Chinese. Okay. Fine. And we have and as well. So for every character, there will be a sum code assigned. The ASCII value we used to call, there will be a sum code assigned behind. So it will print that code. Okay. When I say system.out.println, print the code of this ASCII value. So it will be saying 97. Okay. And there is a small alphabet as well. So there is a difference between the capital A and the small a. Java is very case sensitive. You should be careful about when you are writing when you are, giving storing the character using the char. Okay. So this will be 65. The ASCII value of A is 65. And the next one is the char will be used to store the single character which is enclosed in double quotations. Okay. It will not store more than that. And next we have a boolean.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, what is meant by char 80?
Char
80.
char 80.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't get it. Char 80 in the sense?
Char 80, sir.
Char
This is
at.
in Java
See,
database.
it is char at.
Yeah.
This is a method actually. Character at the given index number. So if you want to find out the character at the given index number, for example, let's say hello. So if you see, if we will discuss these in arrays. So this is the 0th index, first index, second index, third index, fourth index. See, when you are giving hello in string, let's say you are writing a program and you will be giving the string value equals to hello. Okay. So what internally Java will do is it will store the each character into one index and it will give the number to that index. So here you can see hello I have given and it is storing these hello into the different indexes. If I say if I want to get the character value at the index number 1, so I'll say caret of index number. So what is my index number? 1. So I'll give the index number 1 over here. So this what it will do is it will return the character of that index. That's what. So where
Okay.
it is str character. So we'll discuss all these things when we are like discussing the strings. Okay, and this concept will
Okay.
comes under like arrays. So and in arrays you'll learn a lot on this. Okay. So fine. There is a difference between the char and caret. Caret is a method actually, which is given by the Sun Microsystem. Okay, when they are developing their own predefined methods. Cool. Fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So whatever we are discussing as of now, these are the predefined data types. I just want to mention that. So predefined data types in the sense which is given by the Sun when they are developing. Now the Sun is occupied by the Oracle. So the Oracle is the main owner actually. So when the language is developing at that time, the Sun Microsystem created some predefined data types like int, long, float, okay, float, double, char, okay. There will be a boolean as well. There will be short. There will be byte. So these are the different data types they have given while they are developing a language. Okay, so all these are, which I have mentioned as of now, all these are predefined data types or system defined data types. Okay, so what if I want to create my own data type? What if I want to create, like, for example, integer is a class. From this integer, we have a data type called int. Like, and we have one more. If I want to develop, this is a predefined data type, right? If I want to develop my own data type, so they have given some structure. Okay, so we have to follow the structure and we have to create our own data type. We used to call it as user defined data type or custom data types. So we are using the predefined values, predefined data types, and we are creating the user defined data type, which is nothing but we used to call as classes. As I have already told, given the class structure over here, I think so. Maybe here. Yeah, here. So class is a user defined data type. How you are developing a user defined data type? Using a class keyword. So we will be giving some name, okay, and we are defining some variables, and what are the operations you want to perform. You can mention in your class and all these things. Okay, next, let's discuss the Boolean. Boolean data type. See, Boolean will be used to evaluate the conditions. Once, like, Boolean will always returns true or false. True or false. Mostly we will be using this Boolean to evaluate a condition. For example, A is greater than B. Let's say A equals to 20 and B equals to 10. Okay. Here, A is 20 and B is 10. So A is greater, right? So if it is greater, it will return true. Okay. Here I'll write B is greater than A. There is one more condition. Okay. So what is the value of B? 10. What is the value of A? 20. So B is greater than A? No. So we used to write false. Okay. So Booleans will always return a true or false. If the condition is satisfying, it will return true. If the condition is not satisfying, it will return false. That's what Boolean will be doing. Okay. And byte. Byte will be used to store the zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. So we will be using the byte in order to store a file, images. Okay. So when we are discussing the files concept, I'll introduce different types of streams, bytes. Okay. So there we will learn what are the different types of bytes, how to read a file, how to write the data into a file. Okay. So all these things we'll be discussing over here. Short, we are not using in our distributed applications. So mostly shorts will be used in, like, you might have learned microprocessor and microcontroller in your, like, B or B Tech. There is a subject called microprocessor and microcontroller. So you might be seeing the LED lights, right? Signals, traffic signals you might have seen, right? So they will be using this in order to design the logicals actually. So they have used the shorts actually. The shorts will be giving the storing, you can say that, storing the zeros and ones only. Okay. So mostly this is deprecated actually. This is deprecated. In Java, we are not using it, the short. So whatever we are using is in Java, byte, very rarely byte, and Boolean, character, float, double, and int and log. As of now, in my 10 years of experience, I have used only these. Integer, long, very rarely I used it. Double and thrice. Double. Float, very rarely I used it. Char, I have used it. And string, I have used so many times. String, but it is not a data type. It is a class which is given by the Java actually. So we'll discuss the string class as well. Okay. So these are the data types which I have used it in my experience. You might not be getting all the other bytes, short, other different data types. Okay, it's fine. Now here, like, we are discussing about the, so you got it about the data types, right? Okay, you got about the data types. Now we were discussing variables. In variables, I was explaining the syntax of it, syntax of declaring a variable. Now you understood, right? What is a data type? Okay. So I was just taking a part actually, and I'm explaining the part. Then I'm going back again. Variable name. So this part we have discussed, right? Data type. Data type is the one which converts the human understandable, which converts the data from human understandable format to machine understandable format. So that is called data type. Now, what is a variable name? So here the variable name could be anything. So variable name could be any name, but you should give some meaningful names, right? You can't give X and Y. Okay, you can't give X and Y everywhere. See, for balance of account class, I can't give X, right? I can't give X. Why I'm saying you should give meaningful name in the sense, see, you are the developer, you will be working for a particular organization for certain amount of time. After that, you will be going to the different organizations. Okay, so if you are writing the variable names are X or Y, something like that, so the person who are coming new to the organization, he won't understand your X and Y's. So always mention the meaningful names. Okay, balance. If I want to store a name, first name, I'll say first name, first name. Okay, instead of giving a just name, or I instead of giving a X. So X is like it's looking like meaningful name, or the first name it's looking like a meaningful name. If someone will see this first name, they'll understand that okay, you have to enter the first name. And if you see the X, what the other developer will understand. So this is kind of some value. It is storing it, some string value. If he will see this first name, so he'll understand that oh, this is the field which stores the value of first name. Okay. So, but with this X, we can't understand what is the value it is going to store. You're getting my point, right? What is why I am like telling that you should be giving the meaningful names to our variables. Okay. Some of the examples I'll give it. For example, let's say I want to store the account number. So account number is a whole number. It doesn't have any fraction part. So I'll use int as a data type. I'll give the account number semicolon. I'm just declaring it. Okay. Declare the variable. Now, next, I want to store some percentage. Okay, percentage. So I'll say, so for percentage, so percentage will be store something like this, right? 60.4%, something like that, right? Okay, for that, what is the best value to store? There are two we have, float and a double. But if I want to store only a single fraction part, we should go for float. Okay, so then price tag. I'll say price. So price would have something like this, 399.99, something like that. Okay. So if we want to store more than one fraction part, what is the data type we are going to use? Double. Okay. If I want to store a single character, if I want to store a at, if I want to store at, so what I'll do is I'll use cat alphabet, I'll say alphabet. Okay. So, so these are the some of the examples. Okay. And if I want to, let me write for Boolean as well. Is validated. So is validated. So is validated will always return true or false. If you have a requirement of returning true or false, always choose Boolean. Is validated. For example, let's say I am creating a new Gmail account. Okay, so when we are creating a Gmail account, first after creating an account, so they want to validate it with your mobile number. Okay, so once your mobile number is validated, so it will be returning true or false. If the mobile number is validated, it will return true. If it is not validated, it will return false. Okay, it will ask you to validate it. Until you validate your mobile number, it will not make you to sign up. Okay, so these are the different areas we will be using the different data types. Okay, so if it is having a whole number, I'll be using int. If it is there is a kind of like some percentage we need to store it, then I'll go for float. Like for single fraction part, I'll go for float. If it is a price tag, so I'll definitely go for double. If I want to store a alphabet, definitely I'll go for character. If I want to store a true or false, so then definitely I'll go for boolean. Okay. So now this is declaring a variable. Now, as of now, we have to understand how to declare a variable and the syntax of declaring a variable. The syntax is data type and variable name. I have used the same data type and variable name. Now, what I'll do is I want to initialize a value for a variable. Okay, syntax for initializing a value for a variable. Initializing a value for a variable. Okay. So what is the syntax of initializing a value for a variable? I want to initialize a value for this account number. Okay. What is the syntax of it? What is the, formula given by the Sun microsystem to initialize a value? Let's say data type, variable name equals to value. So here, data type could be any data type. So if you want to store the whole number, you can take integer. And the variable name should be meaningful name, and the value, whatever the value you want to assign it, you can assign it. For example, let's say I'll take this one only, account number. So account number is a whole number. So I'll say int account number equals to, I'll give. So this is the account number. Okay. This is the account number. Okay. And if I want to store some percentage, so here initializing a value is nothing but assigning a value, this value to this count number. Okay. And I want to give some percentage. I want to store some percentage. The percentage is 64.0. Okay. So I'll take float. Okay. Next, if I want to store a price tag, so I'll say price equals to, let's say, 399.99.
You have mentioned like for storing float, you have to use a word f, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. F. Okay. Cool. Then double. We are using price. For price, we are using double. Okay. Then if we want to store a character, okay, we'll be using char. I'll be saying some alphabet. In single quotations, I'll write it. So characters always enclosed in single quotations. Okay. Now, and if I want to write a true or false, if I want to if I want to assign a boolean, if I want to assign a true or false to a boolean variable, I'll say boolean is eligible to vote. Eligible to vote. So he's casting a for a vote. If he is eligible, it will be written true or false. If you are directly returning true, so he's eligible to vote. Okay. So I'm just giving that. Like this is the true value it is assigned to, is eligible to vote. So wherever we are checking the condition, so it will always return the true. Let's say, for example, here I am writing a method check voter eligibility. Okay. So here this method is checking is eligible to vote. Now I am writing a condition if he is eligible to vote is true. If he is true, I'll print that, I'll print it system dot out dot println. Here you are eligible to vote. Else you are not eligible to vote. you are not eligible to vote. Okay. So based on this, he is eligible to vote. You're deciding, you're printing whether he is eligible to vote or not. Here, you can check this logic, right? Okay. If you are saying directly false over here, so here it will come, this value will come if the given condition is false. So you are not eligible to vote. Okay. Mostly we will be using this Boolean to check the condition. If the condition is true, so you will be executing the respected statements and you'll be executing the list of statements. Okay. Got it? Okay. Fine. So this is the way of initializing a value for a variable. Any doubts in it?
No.
All right. Okay. Now, let's go and check the types of variables. Types of variables. Types of variables. We have two types. One is non-static or instance variable. Second one is static variable. Second one is static variable. What is non-static variable? What is a non-static variable? Let's see what is a non-static variable. Non-static variables. Let's see some of the properties of the non-static variable. Non-static variable. A non-static variable is the one whose memory space is created each and every time when we create an object. Such type of variables are called non-static variables. Whenever we create an object, for example, there is a car class and I am creating an object. There are some variables I have defined. Specifications, you can say that. Let's say, for example, car name and the CC, engine number, the engine CC, and I'll say engine number. Okay. So these are some of the properties I have defined it. Okay. Whenever I'm creating an object of this car. Okay. So the memory space is created for the car name, engine CC, and engine number every time. Every time. So every time when you are creating an object, the memory space is created for the car name, engine CC, and engine number. Okay, that's the first point. And the second one is for every object, a separate copy of instance variables will be created. That's the second point. The third one is these instance variables will be created. So when this instance variable will be created, when we create an object of a particular class, and these will be destroyed. These will be destroyed once we are executing. Once we are completing our execution. Once we are completing our execution, the instances variable will be instance variables will be destroyed. Okay. When we are creating an
Hello.
object, yeah,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. This engine CC will comes under integer, right?
you can mention 1000 cc, something like that. That's why you can write it as well. But if I want to mention 1000 cc, what you will do?
Oh,
If you want to store only 1000 number, you can go for integer.
okay.
If you want to store this cc as well, then you should be enclose this in double quotations and you have to use string.
Okay. Okay, thanks then.
It's all based on your requirement. If the organization is asking you to use just integer only, you just go and use integer. Okay, there is no harm in that. But
Okay.
you have to bind by the organization rules, what they are, suggesting it, just go for it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. So this is non-static variable, and this non-static variable, keep this in mind. Actually, this is kind of a note. Non-static variable must be called with respect to object name. Object name dot variable name. If you want to access this, for example, let's say I have created car and I want to create, I have created a car object. Let's say car equals to new car. So this is the way of creating an object. If I want to access the car name, let's say car dot, because car is an object of this car class. So if I want to access the instance variable or non-static variable, I should access with respect to object name dot variable name. So object name is, what is my object name? Car is my object name. And I want to access this car name. This is the variable name, right? So I'll say car name. So this will print. Okay. This will print the name of the car which you have assigned. Which you have assigned. Let's say as of now, I just declared it. If I want to directly assign a value, I can directly assign it. Let's say I'll be giving some M XUV 700. Okay, so this details will be printed over here. Okay, fine. Got it? Static variables will be created when we are creating an object of a particular class. When we create an object of this class, the memory space is created for this variables. Okay. And the once we are like complete our execution, okay, these variables will be destroyed. Okay, so these are some of the statics, and if you want to access the instance variable, you should be accessed with respect to the object name dot variable name. Okay, fine. Any doubts? Next, let's go for static variables. So what is a static variable? A static variable is one which is preceded by the static keyword symbol. So there should be a static keyword before the variable name. Static data type variable name. If you have a static keyword before the data type, okay, then we used to call it as these are the static variables. And these static variables can be accessed using the class name. Static variables are accessed through a class name. Okay. So let's say I have created the car object over here, right? So if I want to access, let's say I've given this as a, let's say I've given this engine CC as a static variable. Okay. So now I want to access this engine CC. So how I can access it? With respect to class name. Let me write the syntax. Class name dot variable name. Cool. Now anyone can answer this one. I want to access this engine CC. Now how I can access? Come on. Anyone?
R dot engine
Yeah.
CC.
R dot
Engine CC.
engine CC. Engine CC. Because engine CC is a static variable. Okay. So static variables are accessed through class names. What is my class name? Okay. Car dot engine cc. So this will give the engine cc 1000 cc. Right. Now, what if I want to define constants in my Java program? Let's see that one as well. So as of now, we have discussed what is variable, what is data type, different types of variables. Now let's go and learn about the constants. So how to define a constant? See, constant is an identifier actually whose value cannot be changed during the execution of a program. So once you define it, it will not change once you when you're trying to perform some modifications to the constant value as well. And the constant, in order to the constant will be written something like this. Okay, in order to make a particular variable as a constant, we will be using a final identifier. Okay, in Java, to make an identifier as constant, we will use this keyword, final keyword. Okay, so this final is a keyword which plays an important role. We will be using this final keyword at three levels. One is variable level. Methods also we can use this constant, sorry, final method level, and class level also we'll use this constant. Sorry, final class level. These are the three different levels we'll be using. So once you define a variable as a final, you cannot change that variable or you cannot modify that variable. Okay. So let's see the syntax of defining a constant variable. Okay. Syntax of initializing a final variable. Syntax of initializing a final variable. So what is the syntax? Final keyword, data type, variable name equals to value. Okay, so this is the syntax. You have to use this syntax, okay, or you have to follow this syntax to initialize a final variable or a constant. For example, let's say final int, let's say balance, or you can use double for balance equals to 10,000.99. Okay, so this balance cannot be changed. Okay, once you define final for this variable name. So always make sure that do not use final for this balance. So use a float, or if you want to use int also, you can use it. So it's all depends on like what type of data type you want to use it. But always make sure that if you are giving final, if you are like performing deposit operation 1,000 times also, this balance will not be updated. So you should make sure that you should be applying final for the values which we in future, if you don't want to change the values, you can apply final. For example, let's
Minimum
say
balance we can keep, right?
mhm,
Minimum balance.
yeah, minimum balance you can apply. For example, I'm giving one more example. Let's say uh, default name. If you are not giving a name, so the default name it will be taking. Let's say the default name as Adam. So I am throwing a form at you. Okay. And if you are giving your name, it's fine. Otherwise, it will be choosing the default name, Adam. Okay. So this value will not be changing in future. So it will be if you are giving your own name, so the final value will not be like they'll be will be writing some if and conditions. Will say something like this in real time. If the name is empty or if name equals to null, so we'll say this. You have to give this default value. So I'll say system.println. I'll define this default value, display this default name. And it is just go and use it. I'll be using this default name. Otherwise, I'll be using my own name. If name is not null, I'll be using my own name. I'll be giving my name over here. That's all. Okay. So final, if you are applying final at variable level, make sure that the value would make sure that no, the final value will not be changing. So you should be very careful while applying the final keyword. Okay. In one shot, I can say that final variables cannot be modified. Let's quickly jump to the methods. Any doubts in variables? Different types of variables and constant? Any doubts as of now?
Yeah, in generally, which variables are mostly used? I mean,
I didn't get you. Generally, which variables?
in real time,
Both,
actually,
both. Mostly we are like, mostly we are using the instance. In very rare case, I have used static. Static we will be using for like, for if you are applying like, constants, and that should be a static. Okay. And it should be called with, for example, let's say I'll create one class. Class. I'll give it this class as bank constants or account constants. You can say that account constants. Just I'm giving the different name for a class. Here, if you want to, uh, you know, uh, create a final variables, and these variables should be accessed, and these variables are, static. So at that time, you will be saying private, final, static, and let's say that bank name. This is static, right? Bank name. For every individual bank, there's a different bank name. Okay, it will not change the bank name. For example, ICICI Bank. So this is one of the static. And you should be accessed this variable with respect to what? If it is a static variable, it should be accessed with respect to what?
class.
Class name. So when you're trying to access, you should call account constants dot bank name. So this will give ICICI Bank. Okay. And if you want to store, if you want to like, let me give one more example. The bank headquarters, I'll be take it as a final. The headquarters will be located at what particular place, and it will not change. Okay, the headquarters details. For example, final static bank headquarters.
Yeah, here can we take in the place of static instance variable?
You can take instance variable. You can take instance variable. There is no problem in it. You can take instance variable. But always, like, for constants, we are always taking final and static every time when we are writing any constant, we are including static. Okay. Fine. So there is no problem in it. If you want to give, you can give it. It's your choice, and it's all depends on the organization to organization. If they are like, if your team lead asking you to create a final static variable, okay, you just go and create it. Otherwise, if they are saying that if you are not specifically saying anything like that, so just go and create a instance variable. That's it, right?
Okay, for static variable, we're accessing through class name, right?
Yes.
For instance variable, how can we access?
Object name. That's what I have told you over here. right?
Okay. Object. Yeah.
Object name. Let me write it over here. Let me change from static to instance. Instance variable
Object also
access.
created from class only, right?
Yeah. See, object is a blueprint of a class. Okay. So whenever you create an object of a class, whatever the variables defined in your class, for all those variables, memory space will be created. If you are not creating an object of the class, there is no point of creating a memory space for the data members or variables of the class. So if you are creating an object of a class, memory space will be created for the car name and engine CZ and engine number. If you are not creating this object, so there is no point of like the JVM will not create the memory space for these variables. Okay, we used to say as memory allocation for the data members. I used to call it as a data members for these. Okay, data members. So you can call data members. You can call variables. You can call anything. Okay,
Okay.
fine. No, it's fine, right? Headquarters. I'll say QD. I'll say Bangalore, Whitefield. Bangalore, Whitefield. So they're the headquarters. That's it. These are some of the exam. This is an example for creating the final constants. Now let's go and learn the methods. Right? You understood the methods. Variables and the types of variables, right? Huh? Any doubts? Before going to the topic, I'll just take some questions. If you have any doubts, please let me know.
No.
Okay, I'll take. Yeah, no. Fine. So methods. So in maths, we used to call it as a functions. A function is a list of statements. A function will have some list of statements. Statement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till n statements we have. Statements. In maths, we have something like this. We have a function. Let's say f1. F1 is a function. In F1 function, we have list of statements to execute. We will be executing the list of statements. So in maths also, we used to call in maths we used to call it as functions. In computer science, we used to call it as methods. Okay. So a methods are a method. A method is one which will be executing some list of statements. Which will be executing some list of statements. Statement 1, statement 2, and so on. N statements. We have n number of statements. Okay. Let me write some of the syntax of. So you got it right. What is a method? Method is a collection of statements. Method is a collection of statements. We have n number of statements to execute. If we have a n number of statements to be executed, you should enclose all those statements in a method. Okay. So what is the syntax of writing a method? So Java, the Sun Microsystem, they have created almost 4,000 plus methods till now. Till Java 8, they have created 4,000. They have given 4,000 plus methods. 4,000 plus methods they have given. So if you want to create your own method, okay, then you are good to go. They have given some proper syntax. You have to follow the syntax and you have to create your own methods. So what is the syntax actually? What is the syntax? These 4,000 methods are called predefined methods or system defined methods. And if you want to create your own methods, so they have given some syntax. So we used to call these methods as user-defined methods. So what is the syntax? And what are the different types of methods actually? So we have two different types of methods. Again, they are instance methods and we have a static methods. Instance method also called as what? Static, non-static. Instance method also called as non-static methods. Good. First, non-static methods. Let's see the syntax of non-static methods or instance methods. Non-static methods. Okay. Non-static methods. Syntax is method name, list of parameters, if any. If any list of parameters, you have to write over here. Okay. So, and here we'll be writing the statements. That's statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement 4, and so on. 10 statements, and so on. N statements. Statement 4, statement 3, statement 2. So these are the list of statements. If you want to return, for example, you have calculated something and you want to return the value of that variable. So you will say return variable name. And here you will return the type of this variable. So here I'll say this return type. If you want to return, for example, see here in this method, I have performed some operation. I got some result. Okay. For example, there is a balance and I have updated the balance. There is a deposit operation and I have updated the balance and I want to return this balance back to my class. Okay. So that I can use that balance in some to display the balance in display the balance to the end user. Okay. So I want to return that balance variable. So what is the variable name of that? What is the variable name? So I'll be giving that variable name. And what is the type you want to return? If the balance is a type of integer, so you'll be returning integer. So we'll come to here. We'll come to know. We'll see an example on this. You'll understand. So as of now, this is a syntax of creating a non-static method. Okay. So method name, list of parameters if any, and we are executing the list of statements. If I want to return any variable outside of this method, then I'll be mentioning the return variable name, and here I'll be writing the return type. If you don't want to return anything, if you don't want to return anything, okay, so you always make the return type as void and method name. Everything is similar. If you are returning something, you are just giving that what is the return type of that variable name, you're just giving over here. Okay, I'll give you one example. So based on that, you'll understand. Okay. Let's say there is a addition method. Okay, there is a calculator class. Let's create a class. Calculator. There is a class called calculator. Inside this class, we have some variables. Let's define the variables. Let's say value1 is a one variable. Value2 is another variable. There is a addition method. So it performs addition operation. So this addition methods will be taking the list of parameters as number 1, comma, int number. What I'll do is I'll assign this number 1 to value 1. Okay. Value 1 equals to number 1. Value 2 equals to number 2. Okay. Here, what I'll do is I'll perform addition operation. I'll perform addition operation. I'll capture the result into the variable called result. Okay. So I'll say, I'll define the result over here as well globally. Result. I'll say I am performing addition operation. So value 1 plus value 2. So if I want to return the result, if I want to return this result outside of this method, so I'll say return. What I want to return? I want to return this result. So I'll say result. Okay. What is the type of this result? What is the type? Int, right? Result is a variable and the type of this variable is integer, right? It is storing integer value. So we are saying that we should say, so the type whatever the value you are returning, that type is integer. So you should write int over here, and that's it. Cool. Understood? Got it or not?
Got it.
Yeah. Let's say from my main application, I am passing some values. This is my main logic. Here I am creating an object of calculator class. Calculator. I'll write object name. I'll always give the object name as a class name. Calculator. New calculator. I'll say I want to call this method. I want to execute this method. This is a non-static method. Okay. So in terms of variables and in terms of methods, non-static methods or non-static variables must be called with respect to object name.
Object.
Yeah. So here, what is our object name? Calculator is our
Calculator.
object name. Yeah. In small case, calculator is our object name. Just use it. Calculator. What is the method
Dot
name? Addition.
Addition.
Addition. Here, this addition method is taking two values, right? Number 1 and number 2. Just pass those values. Let's say 100 and 200. Okay. Now, addition is a method. Let's grab this flow. Addition is a method called by the calculator object. Calculator is an object of what class? Calculator class,
Calculator.
right? Go to the calculator class. Search for the addition method. Okay. Here we have addition method. Okay. It will come over here and it will paste this 100 and 200 values into the number 1 and number 2. Now what I'm doing over here, I'm taking the value of number 1 into value 1 and I'm taking the value of number 2 into value 2. Then what I'm doing, I'm performing addition. What I'm doing, I'm performing addition. Value 1 plus value 2. So the result I'm storing into the result variable and I'm returning the result back. And the type of result is int. Now you tell me what is the answer for this?
300.
300 is the answer. Correct. Because here we are performing addition. The values are coming over here 100 and 200. I am performing the addition. 100 plus 200 equals to 300. That's it. I am returning the result. If I want to display the result, I'll use a display method. Let's come to the void. So here I am returning the value. See, result I am returning. The result type is int. That's why I'm giving type as int over here. Return type as int. The same procedure I followed, right? See, method name. My method name is here. You can check addition. The same syntax. And after method name, I have mentioned list of parameters, if any. Yeah, I have parameters. The parameters are number 1 and number 2. You can take 100 parameters also. There is no problem in it. Okay. So I have taken the two parameters, number 1, number 2. Then the next thing is that statements, list of statements you want to execute. See, I want to perform addition. So these are the steps which I want. These are the steps which I need to do. So first I am like copying the value of number one to value one, number two to value two, then I'm performing the addition. Then what I'm doing, if I want this result outside of this method, so what I'm doing is I am returning the result. And whatever the value which I am returning, I'll be what is the value of result? What is the value of data type? What is the
Int.
value of result? Int. So I'm just returning int over here. The same thing I have followed, right? Any new thing I have followed? Return type, method name, list of parameters if any, and the list of statements. And if I want to return anything, I am returning it. Now, I got this I got this result outside of it, and I want to display it. So this result value, when you are returning from addition method, this result value will be available to the all methods. If you want to take that method, you can. If you want to take that value, you can take it and you can display it. This is system dot out dot println. I'll write addition of two numbers is equals to plus. I'll say result. That's it. And I'm not returning anything here, right? If I don't want to return anything, I'll be keeping the return type as void. Void in the sense I am not returning anything. If you are not writing void, you'll get compile time error. It is mandatory to write a void if you are not returning any value. Getting? Got it or not?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Others?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, fine then. So
So
now,
in the main, like we have to call the display method also. Or
yeah, if you want to execute, if you want to execute this method as well. So display is a method. Display is a static method or non-static method.
Non-static method,
Non-static.
How you will identify a method is static or non-static? There should
because there
be a
is no.
static keyword. There should be a static keyword. If there is a static keyword before this return type, you can think that this is a static method. If there is no static method over, there is no static keyword over here. So I'll think this is a non-static. So non-static must be called with respect to object name. So this is an object. So call it calculator
Not
dot
display.
display. Okay, again, let's trace this one from our main application. Display is a method called with respect to calculator object. Calculator is an object of which class? Calculator class. Let's go to the calculator class and let's look for the addition. This is an addition method? No. So this is addition method. It will come and execute this one. The addition of two numbers is result. What is the result? 300. The addition of two numbers is 300. It will display. Make sense?
Actually, this is the same story for variables and methods. Like, I mean,
Same story. Yeah, that's what. That's what. See, non-static variables, non-static methods will be accessed with respect to, the object name. And the static variables, static methods will be accessed with respect to class name. That's why I said, we make a note. This will hunt you through your life actually.
Okay.
Okay. Throughout your life, you should know this. Static methods must be called with respect to class name. Non-static methods will be called with respect to object name. If you
Object.
know this, you can write any program. You can call any method. Not a problem. Okay, fine then. And yeah, static method. Static method. Simple it is. We will be just including a static keyword. Let me copy the syntax. Where I have to include the static before this return type. Now this is a static method. Okay. Just add static over here for this. Let me take one more method. I'll take subtraction method as a static method. Subtraction, a static method. So you should be writing static before the return type. That's it. That's a subtract method now. I'll say value 1 minus value 2. That's it, right? Subtraction in the sense. Okay. So now here, I'll take the different return value over here. I'll say this is addition result in order to differentiate it. And there is I'll write subtraction result. I'll replace the wherever result is there, I'll replace that one. Okay, here also I'll replace it. Any confusion? Please let me know. Subtraction result. And here subtraction result. And I am like returning the addition result over here, right? In display method. I'll write over here. Any doubts? Any confusions?
No.
Okay. What I did it before, I was using the result variable. Now I had changed result variable to addition result because I've added the subtraction result and I want to use the subtraction result and display it in my display method as well. I don't want to get ambiguity. So you'll be, if I'm using result in both of these methods, you'll get ambiguity. So which result it will display, something like that. That's why I've changed the variable name, addition result and subtraction result. Got it? Now, let me explain this again. The syntax. Method name could be any name. A list of parameters. If you have any list of parameters, you can enclose this word here. And you will be writing the list of statements which you want to execute. And if you want to return a variable, you will be returning the variable and the type you should mention. If you want to return a variable, and the variable type should be mentioned over here. And if it's a static, you'll be mentioning the static keyword. That's it. There is no difference between there is a slight difference between the static and non-static. We'll just add the static keyword. That's it. And the static variables are static methods, must be accessed with respect to what? Class name, right? Class name dot method name. That's it. I'll give an example over here. Let's call this calculator method later. I want to execute before the display method. I want to execute this subtraction method. Okay. So subtraction method is a static method or non-static method? Static method or non-static method?
Static.
Static method.
Static method must be called with respect to what? Class name.
Class.
What is our class name? This is our class name. So you say
Calculator.
calculator dot subtraction. And you have to pass two values. Let's pass 200, 100. Again, subtraction is a method called by the calculator class. Let's directly go to the calculator class. Let's search for the subtraction. This is subtraction. No, this is not. This is subtraction method. It is coming inside the subtraction method. Whatever the values we have passed, 200 and 100, it will be copied to number 1 and number 2 respectively. Then from number 1, we are copying to value 1. From number 2, we are copying to value 2. And we are storing the result. Whatever the result after subtraction, we are storing the result in the sub result. And we are returning the sub result. What is the result? Sub result type? Int. That's what I'm doing. I'm returning type int. Make sense? Okay. Any doubts? All right.
No.
Okay, fine then. See, over here, I have written some printout statements. So system.out.println is the printout is the statements which will be used to print the things to your console. Okay, using this particular statement only, you will be printing the things to your console. Okay, here I have followed the class structure. If you see, I have written some structure actually before this class starts. There it is. Not here, not here. Okay, fine. Think I can't find it. I'll write it separately. There are two classes which I have written actually. One is, so I used to, like, in our industry, what we used to do is we used to separate the business logic, business class, and our client application, which is our main method. Client application, which is our main method, main class. Okay. So what I did over here is I have written two different classes. So in business class, what I'm doing is I'm writing the actual logic. You can check here. If you check this calculator class, there is no main method involved in it. There is no main method involved in it. Okay. This is a separate class. This is a separate class. Okay. This is a separate class. So we used to call it as, in real world, we used to call it as business class. This is a business class. So business class will be having only the logic. See, here I have a logic of performing addition operation. I have a logic of performing subtraction operation. Okay. So how, from where I am like calling, executing this logic from our main method. So this is a separate class. I'll take this as a separate class. Class. I'll say calculator main application. Calculator client application. Okay. Yeah. So this is public static void main. And here you'll be giving some arguments if you have any. Cool. Okay. Make sense? Any doubts now? Let me write the syntax for both business class and main class. Syntax of business class. You'll be having a class and the class name, and you'll be having data members or variables. Data members of a class. Members are variables. The class and methods. Class. This is a business class. The business class will have only the data members you declared, or variables you declared, and methods you have defined. That's what I have written over here. That's what I have written. I have created a class and I have the data members are variables and I have the respected methods. See, this is my business class. The business class will look like this only. If you go to any industry, they'll follow the same standard. Okay. Then main class. Main class. So main class will be having a class, and again class name, and here we have a public static void main string args on the braces. Here what you do is you will be creating an object of your business class. That's it. See, every Java program execution will start from this class only. Okay. If you want to execute your business logic as well, what you do is you have to create an object of your class. Okay. In our example, we have created the calculator. If you see over here, see, I have created an object of calculator. Okay. And if I want to execute my addition and subtraction methods, and I have called those methods. If it is a non-static method, called with respect to object name. If it is a static method, called with respect to class name. Okay. Okay. Fine. Here we can write the statements if you want to execute. Statement Okay. So this is a class and we have a method. Inside the method, we are executing the list of statements. Okay. So, and we are not written anything. That's why we have given this void. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts?
Mm.
All right.
No.
I think we are like cover all the topics for today's class. History of Java, we
Yeah.
covered it.
Overall, execution happens only in main method, right?
Yeah, from main method only it will start. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any particular website to practice this Java?
Why you have IntelliJ, right? You can download IntelliJ or you can download the Spring Tool suite to practice the things. I'll give some examples to you and you can practice it.
Okay. Like I'm very new to this Java, so that's the reason I don't know.
Okay, fine. So I'll teach you. Maybe in next class we'll see as examples on this actually. I'll give 3 to 4 examples. I'll write the 3 to 4 examples and I'll give 10 to 15 examples to you practice. And by tomorrow EOD, I'll expect you to, uh, uh, write the code for all those 10 to 14 questions which I have given. And I want you to send those, code to the code to my mail ID. I'll give one mail ID and I want you to drop mails to that.
Okay,
Okay.
sure. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
No doubts, right? Let's stop over here. We started at 10. It's almost 11:55. Okay. It's a basic. So it's a small. No, it's a it's kind of a overview class actually. Session 1 it took a lot of time. From tomorrow, I'll try to close in 1 hour. Okay. So tomorrow we'll read the Hungarian notations. How you will first I will see the some of the examples how to write it. Mm, I'll give 4 to 5 examples. Then we'll see the Hungarian notations. How to give the class names, how to write the variable name, how to uh, give the method name. Okay. So how to give the constant names. All these things I'll be, teaching you how to write all these things. Okay. So there will be certain procedures you have to follow while, writing the variable name, while writing the method name, while writing the class name, while writing the constant name, while creating the enums. So you have to follow some procedure. So everyone will follow the same procedure. So if you know all that thing, like it will be easy for you if you go to any organization, it will be very easy for you. So everyone will follow the same standard in every organization. Okay. We'll discuss that by tomorrow. Okay. Until then, if you don't have any doubts, we'll drop off.
Yeah. Will we be getting this Zoom link, like recorded video?
Every day Zoom link. I don't know. I have started recording. I don't know whether how much MB it will take and how to whether I can. So maybe if it is available in MP4, I'll definitely give this recording to you. If it is different format, and I have to
Mm.
take a look at it actually. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine then.
So will you provide the notes